Hello and welcome back. Okay, so in this one we will be talking to all of our comrades here, our companions, sorry, and we will also go about getting their approval up to the highest we can, and then after that we will go and recruit one of our other companions, Shale.
What do you need? You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
I just thought you might need to talk. It doesn't mean I don't mourn his loss. He was like a father to you, and yeah, he was like a father to you. Understand?
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it. Not when so much is riding on us. Not with the blight and
I think everyone can understand that. You
I'm
lose,
sorry.
A parent, come on, no harm done. Honestly, there's no need to apologise. Yeah, there's no need to apologise.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
What about the other Grey? He had you.
I suppose he did. It probably sounds stupid, but part of me wishes I was with him, in the battle. I feel like I abandoned him.
No, I understand completely. He saved your life by sending
Yes.
to the tower.
I know. I think he came from High Ever, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
I've lost enough to know what you're going through. No, not really, not since I left the tower. I've know enough.
Yes, I imagine you really have, haven't you? Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
Anytime, answer. Maybe I'll go to Iowa with you when you go. He was a friend. He wasn't. Well, we just met him, but I suppose he was a friend. Maybe I'll go with you.
I'd like that. So would he, I think. What do you need? Ask away.
So how did you become a Grey Warden?
Same way you did. You drink some blood, you choke on it, and pass out. You haven't forgotten already, have you?
Well, I've slept since then. I always usually forget. So, haha, very funny. I meant that before. Yeah, haha.
I do my best. What can I say? Let's see, I was in the Chantry before. I trained for many years to become a Templar, in fact. That's where I learned most of my skills.
You don't seem like the religious sort. You mentioned before. You don't seem like the religious
You're
sort.
telling me I was banished to the kitchens to scour the pots more times than I can count. And that's a lot. I can count pretty high. The Grand Cleric didn't want to let me go. Duncan was forced to conscript me, actually, and was she ever furious when he did. I thought she was going to have us both arrested. I was lucky.
You think Duncan took pity on you? You think this is better than being a Templar? Why did the Grand Cleric want to keep you?
I wondered that myself. It's not as if she valued me highly. I think she just didn't want to give anything to the Grey Wardens, is all. The Chantry didn't lose much. And I think I can do more fighting the Blight anyhow, rather than sitting in a temple somewhere.
Yes,
I'll
you
always
can.
be thankful to Duncan for recruiting me. If it hadn't been for him, I wouldn't have.
I shouldn't have brought him up. I'm sorry. Please don't start crying again. He was a good man.
He was. A good man who didn't deserve his fate. That much I'm sure of. Come on, let's go. I think I'm done talking. What do you need?
Let's force him to talk more anyway.
Ask away.
What did Templars do? So you said this Earl Eamon raised you.
Did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
That's not what I remember you telling Fergus. That would explain the smell. I thought you were raised by the Sanctuary. Really? That must have been tough with them, yes.
Well, they were flying dogs, you see. Surprisingly strict parents, too. And devout Andrastians to boot.
And these dogs sorted the Chantry, I take it. That is what they say about Anders. Raised by... Yeah, that is what they say about Anders, right?
And that they make a great deal of cheese. Funny, but the dogs never mention cheese. As a matter of fact, if you said cheese around them, they'd start growling. Isn't that odd? Or
Yeah,
did
my
I
dog's
dream
barking
all
in the
of that?
background because of it.
Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on a cold, hard ground, isn't it?
I dream of becoming a Grey Warden. Oh, wait. Is this going somewhere? I'm going to hit you very soon now. I dream of becoming a Grey Warden. Oh, wait.
Point taken. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind.
Oh,
My
I
mother
make
was
comments.
a serving girl
Lots of
in
comments.
Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Arleman wasn't my
I'm
father,
sure
but he took me in
it's
anyhow
either his
and
mother
put a roof
or
over my head. He was good
perhaps
to me.
one
didn't
of his
have to be.
grandparents was an elf.
I respected the man, and I don't blame him
The
anymore
elves,
for
when they
sending
have
me off to the
kids with
Chantry
other
once I was
races,
old
it
enough.
will always be whatever the other race was, no matter whether it's the father or the mother. Why did he send you off to the Chantry? He wasn't your father, so you know who is. But you blamed him then, I take. So do you know who your father is?
I know who I was told was my father. He died even before my mother did, anyhow. It isn't important. Arleman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Arlessa, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
You'll probably look at the most orphans. Wasn't it inappropriate for the Arl to raise an orphan? It's an awful thing to do to a child. It wasn't inappropriate.
Probably. It was just a kindness he did to a woman who had served him anyway. I didn't sleep on silk sheets in the keep or anything. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do.
Yeah, kids always do stupid things.
The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see
I personally
how
threw a Hoover
but I
through a
was
window when I
stubborn.
was a kid, you know.
I hated it
Didn't mean to.
and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
And you think the Earl will help? Are you sure he isn't your father? You were young.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Kaelin's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story. What do you need? Ask away.
What can a Templar do exactly?
Essentially, they're trained to fight. The Chantry would tell you that the Templars exist simply to defend. But don't let them fool you. They're an army. The other main purpose for a Templar is, of course, to hunt mages. To that end, we train in talents that drain mana and disrupt spells.
So couldn't others learn these talents? So Templars use magic themselves. Have you hunted many mages? Seems like the Templars could run the Chantry. Have you hunted many mages?
No, I never actually became a full Templar. Duncan recruited me before I took my vows. I was only present during one harrowing. That was all I needed, too. I don't know how anyone could get through that. The girl they tested, she had a demon put inside her to see if she could resist. And she couldn't. We had to end it quickly. I have to say I didn't have much interest in becoming a Templar after that.
Yeah, good. So couldn't others learn these talents? So Templars use magic themselves?
You could call it that, sure. The Chantry doesn't look on it the same way, however, since really our talents only work on mages. Against a regular person, I'm just a guy in a metal suit.
So couldn't others learn these talents?
Perhaps, but there usually isn't much of an opportunity. The Chantry keeps a close rein on its Templars. We are given lyrium to help develop our magical talents, you see. Which means we become addicted. And since the Chantry
So
controls
control an
the
army
lyrium
with
trade
drugs.
with the dwarves, well, I'm sure you can put two and two together.
So you were addicted to this lyrium. That's horrible. I can't believe they would do that. Sounds like an excellent method of control.
You think so, huh? You don't need lyrium in order to learn the Templar talents. Lyrium just makes Templars' talents more effective. Or so I was told. Maybe it doesn't even do that. The Chantry usually doesn't let their Templars get away either, so they can spread their secrets. I'm a bit of an exception. Lucky me.
Oh, Alistair disapproves. Oh, I didn't mean that as in like it was a good method of control. I meant it as in the fact that it was, you know, sucks because it's an excellent method of control.
What do you need?
Doing it.
Ask away.
Okay. Why have you remained a Templar if you hate the Chantry?
Have you seen the uniform? It's not only stylish, but well made. I'm a sucker for good tailoring.
I thought the toes were heavy plate mostly. In that case, you should become a mage. Oh, I didn't think I'd seen you wearing it. Not this again. Yeah, you should become a mage.
Oh, you aren't kidding. I think
Fashion
the
sense
Templar
is
uniforms
horrible.
are
We've
as
seen the
colourful as they
hats.
are just so the Templars didn't feel dull in comparison. Last thing you want when you're about to take down some Maleficar out in the woods is to have him point and laugh at your taste in clothing, am I right?
And what's the real reason? Seems like that might happen anyway. So it's this way you deflect my questions with humour, right? Do all Templars make jokes or just you? Seems like that might happen anyway.
Oh, ow, ow. Stab wounds to the pride are the worst. You don't really want to know about my being a Templar, do you? It's really quite boring.
I do really want to know, yes. Then make something up more exciting. You don't have to tell me then, I was just curious. Yeah, make up something.
You know, I like the way you think. You're all right. If you're really curious, then I'll tell you. The truth of the matter is that I did hate going to the monastery. The initiates from poor families thought I put on airs, while the noble ones called me a bastard and ignored me. I felt like Al-Eamon had cast me off, unwanted, and I was determined to be bitter. But I took some solace in the training itself, I guess. I was actually quite good at it.
So you enjoyed the training, enjoyed hunting mages, did you? I think I understand. What did you enjoy about the
The
training?
education, mostly, but also the discipline. You need to have a disciplined mind in order to use the abilities we have. It was difficult, but rewarding. I never really felt at home anywhere, though, until I joined the Grey Wardens. And Duncan felt my Templar abilities might be useful for when we encountered Darkspawn magic, so I kept it up. What about you? Do you have anywhere you consider home?
Not anymore, no. The Circle of Magi Tower was my home for so long. Home is wherever camp is, we're travellers. Yeah, home is wherever camp is now.
We won't always be traveling like this, you know. Once the war is over, once the Blight is... well, a time will come when we'll have to think about having a real home again. Though that seems like a far ways off. And I suppose the Grey Wardens are gone for good. Either way.
That's assuming we even survive. They can be rebuilt. You can always keep travelling. There's no times we can be
I
rebuilt.
suppose you're right. We can create new Grey Wardens, but we'll never get back those we lost. I wonder if it would ever feel the same. Anyhow, now I've sidetracked us. We'd better get back to what we're supposed to be doing right now. What do you need? Ask away.
Tell me about the Grey
Such
Wardens.
as they are.
Where are the nearest Grey Wardens from here?
That's a good question. There's plenty in Orlais, but who knows where they might be found. And the nearest Orlesian city is weeks away. If we go north and cross the sea, there's bound to be some in the Free Marches. Again, however, I just don't know where. I don't know anything about Grey Wardens in other lands.
Is there a headquarters somewhere?
Here in Ferelden, there's our compound in Denerim at the palace, but that's it. Loghain will have control over that and be watching it, no doubt. Beyond that, the only place I know of is Weishaupt Fortress. That's the headquarters of all Grey Wardens in the Anderfelds, 1,000 miles from here. But I've no idea how to even contact them. So unless we try to get back to the compound in Denerim, I suppose the answer is no. There's nowhere for us to go.
So what happens now there's just two of us?
I imagine that eventually the Grey Wardens outside of Ferelden will wonder what's happened. Why there's no contact from Duncan or someone. They'll send someone eventually. Though who knows what Loghain's people in Denerim will tell them. Maybe they won't send anyone. We could try to contact them. But that would mean leaving Ferelden, and
Yeah,
even
it's
if
not
we
such a
did,
good
they
idea.
couldn't come back
We
with
need
us
to
in
stay,
time to stop
fight.
the Blight.
And win.
So that means whatever happens, it's up to us.
We will need to start rebuilding the Order.
I mean, eventually we would have to use the joining to make more Grey Wardens, right? But I don't know how to do the joining, or what's involved. I know it involves lyrium and some other magic, and that it's really difficult to prepare, but that's it. Unless we can find out more about the joining, I guess we better
I did
get used
think
to
it
the
couldn't
idea
just
that
be you
there
had to
might
drink the
only be two of
Darkspawn
us for
blood,
now.
because otherwise anyone who
Until
got
more
tainted
come from
could then
elsewhere.
become a Grey Warden. So it must be something else to it. Lyrium and something else are needed with the blood, I'm guessing. So what would happen if we just left?
Just left? You mean just left Ferelden? I don't know. If there's an Archdemon, however, we're supposed to be the only ones who can defeat it. And that means the Blight would grow unchecked. Eventually, other Grey Wardens in Orlais and other lands would hear about it, and they would come to fight it, but they wouldn't come in time to save Ferelden. There's no way. I'm not going anywhere. About the Grey Wardens, anyhow. Fair enough. What do you need?
That's it for now from Alistair. Okay. Rex, as I called the dog.
Oh, why, you little...
What? Did you just jump at the sight of your own shadow again? Are you harassing my dog? What?
Your furry friend here took offence at me getting near his food. He snapped at me, look.
There's hardly any blood drawn. Still, he shouldn't have. It's just a warning. He could have taken a hand off. Good boy, teach silly Alistair a lesson. Bad dog, that's not very nice. Well, he is a ward dog. It's just a warning. He could have taken a hand off.
Don't you think I don't know it? Sometimes I forget that he's a war dog. That'll teach me. I once heard a really old legend about how the Hound warriors in the days of the old tribes would feed their Mabari the flesh of the vanquished. Well, that's what I heard anyway. It would sometimes be human flesh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, like you can tell the difference. For all you know, maybe you've already been fed something. Someone.
Oh. Don't listen to it, it's full of rubbish. If you've had it and didn't know, it's probably tasty. I'd never feed you another human being.
It's not cannibalism if he's eating it, you know.
Look at what your fool dog placed in my pack. A putrid, half-eaten hare is not something a woman wants to find in her unmentionables.
It's the thought that counts, he means well. Can't be stinkier than what normally goes in them. I think he thinks you need more meat on your bones. Why doesn't he share his food with me? Oh, okay. It's the thought that counts. He means well.
Dirty mongrel can have this back. There. And tell him not to do it again.
Don't do it again. You're a ward dog, not a nursemaid. You heard the lady. It was a gift. You can't just throw it away.
I just did. I don't want it, you worthless fur bag.
Oh, don't be so mean, Morrigan. I think you hurt his feeling. You're a mean lady. The dog says, I think you hurt his feelings.
Oh, he's just trying to be manipulative. I can tell. I do it too.
What the hell's going on? What's all this about watch instead? Back away slowly. I'll watch him.
You are a true warrior and worthy of respect.
Trying to find your way through the earth, are we? Stop that, you're making a mess. Bad dog. Gonna find your way through, are you? It's gonna take some time, you know. Oh, don't be silly, it's just... it's gonna take some time. Well, good luck with that. Okay, let's go to Liliana.
Yes?
I'd like to talk.
Here I am.
What would someone like you be doing in
What is meant
Chantry?
by someone like me?
You don't seem to belong in the cloister, you know, a beautiful, charming woman like yourself. Ooh, scrumped something peachy like all of the Chantry zealots. They don't teach you how to fight like that in a cloister, do they?
Did you think I was always a cloistered sister? The Chantry provides succor and safe harbor to all who seek it. I chose to stay and become affirmed.
What did you do before that? Affirmed. Why were you seeking safe harbor? So your skills were learned. So what did you do before that?
I was a traveling minstrel in Orlais. Tales and songs were my life. I performed, and they rewarded me with applause and coin. And my skill in battle? Well, you pick up different skills when you travel, yes? Yes, of course. Let's move on. Yes? Well, here I am.
Okay, this vision
I
of
knew
yours.
this would come up sooner or later. I don't know how to explain, but I had a dream. In it, there was an impenetrable darkness. It was so dense, so real. And there was a noise, a terrible, ungodly noise. I stood on a peak and watched as the darkness consumed everything. And when the storm swallowed the last of the sun's light, I fell. And the darkness drew me in.
What then? Say it was just a dream. Why say it's a vision? You dreamt of the blight. You dreamt of the
I
blight.
suppose I did. That was what the darkness was, no? When I woke, I went to the Chantry's gardens, as I always do. But that day, the rosebush in the corner had flowered. Everyone knew that bush was dead. It was grey and twisted and gnarled, the ugliest thing you ever saw. But there it was, a single beautiful rose. It was as though the Maker stretched out his hand to say, even in the midst of this darkness, there is hope and beauty. Have faith.
That's just wishful thinking. It probably is. And then he made you want to help me. Did you hear voices? I don't need the Maker. And this made you want to help me.
In my dream, I fell. Or maybe I jumped. I'd do anything to stop the blight. I know that we can do it. There are so many good things in the Maker's world. How can I sit by while the blight devours everything?
The Chantry says the Maker has left us. The blight is the Maker's punishment. Will you defy him? I suppose I couldn't sit by either.
That is why you're a Grey Warden. Come, there's a blight to stop. Yes? Well, here I am.
What was your life like in the Chantry
Quiet.
cloister?
It was a life suited for contemplation. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace. And in that stillness, I could hear the Maker. But it was not perfect. Some of my Chantry fellows were condescending. That is the nature of religious folk, I suppose.
Condescending how so? Yes, they seem to be self-righteous, they do. That's why I'm not particularly... Yes, they seem to be self-righteous.
When I talked about my beliefs, that the Maker reveals himself in the beauty of his world, they treated me with disdain. They want to believe that he's gone, so that when he turns his gaze on them, it means they are special, chosen. He cannot possibly
Isn't that what you're
have
doing
love
with
for
your
all,
visions?
the sick and the weary, the beggars and the fools.
Don't really want the Maker looking in on me anyway. What did you say to them? I prefer your ideas to the Chantry ideas, but you must... Yeah, I prefer ideas.
Thank you.
Everyone.
Maybe I am wrong. But it is the Maker's place to decide if
Yeah,
I
it
am
seems to be
worthy, not
hypocritical.
men, not the Chantry. But there is work to be done, and I have talked enough for now. Yes? Well, here I am.
You're a travelling minstrel. Do you have tales
Of
to
course
share?
I do. I love stories far too much to keep them to myself. Everyone should be able to benefit from them, I think.
Tell me about the Darkspawn.
Chantry law says it is man's pride that created the Darkspawn. In ages past, the mages of the Tevinder Imperium ruled much of the world we know. In their pride, they thought their magics invincible and imagined that they were greater than the Maker himself. So thinking, they invaded his golden city, planning to take it for themselves and depose their own creator. But they were impure and full of sin. And it is with the sin that they tainted the golden city, corrupting it forever. The Maker cursed them and cast them from his sight. Wherever they went, they spread the taint of their sin. Any land that was touched by the taint became blighted and would suffer no life. Instead, the Darkspawn arose to torment us and remind us of our hubris.
Do you know any stories from Orlais?
Of course, Orlesians enjoy telling stories. I shall tell you my favorite tale of Aveline, the Knight of Orlais.
Aveline's actually the name of one of the characters from the second Dragon Age film, but obviously not the same person. Go ahead, that sounds interesting. Yeah, go
A
ahead.
long time ago, a girl child was born to a farmer. He had hoped for a son, not a daughter, and so he told his wife to abandon the child in the woods. Before the cold could claim her, the baby was found by a tribe of Dalish elves who took pity on the poor mewling thing and raised her as their own. Aveline, for that is what they called her, grew strong and quick and clever under the guidance of the elves. She learned to wield the sword as well as any man, could kill a deer with an arrow at 100 paces, and was as graceful on the back of a horse as she was on foot.
I saw that coming. Perhaps we could continue. I saw that coming.
Many legends have familiar forms and themes. We enjoy them so because we know them. Avelin's Dalish guardians saw that she could easily best any Orlesian chevalier in battle, and wanted to show the cruel humans the child they had left to die. They bestowed upon her a fine horse and armor, and sent her to prove herself to her people in the grand tourney. Now in those days, no woman was allowed to take up arms, let alone compete in the grand tourney. But
So the
Aveline
equal
kept
genders
her
thing
helmet
wasn't
on
always in
and
place.
was not discovered.
Did she win the tourney?
Aveline won many events and gained the approval of the adoring crowd. Eventually, she came face to face with the knight Kaleva in the grand melee. Aveline had already bested him in the joust, and Kaleva was determined not to lose a second time. Out of desperation to regain his honor, Kaleva tripped Aveline and tossed her to the ground, ripping off her helmet as he did so. Silence fell upon the arena as Aveline was revealed. Kaleva declared the previous competitions invalid. A woman had taken part, and this was not allowed. But the crowd cheered for Aveline. Kaleva was furious, for he had lost to a woman and was now being shamed. Blinded by his rage, he forced Aveline to her knees. "Know your place, woman," cried he, and slit her throat.
I was hoping for a happy ending. That's terrible. Perhaps we could... I was hoping for a happy ending.
The son of the king, Prince Freyan, was present. He recognized Aveline's skill and bravery and began to see the injustice done to the women in his land. When he was made king, he rewrote the laws of Orlais so that women could also become chevalier. He honored Aveline and knighted her after her death. And to this day, any female who is knighted reveres Aveline the Brave, for she is the patron of all women chevalier.
Do you know any Ferelden
I know
legends?
one, told to me by my mother a long time ago. It always chilled me to the bone. Maybe you have heard of Flemeth?
Yeah, I've heard of Flemeth. Merrigan's mother was called Flemeth. I've met Flemeth in the Kokori Wild. Yeah, I met her.
Are you sure? Was she the Flemeth of legend? Flemeth, the devourer of men? Flemeth, mother of witches? Flemeth, demon-touched, who dwells in the mists?
What does it matter? She didn't really introduce herself as such. She just looked like she didn't introduce herself as such.
Ferelden mothers scare their daughters with talk of Flemeth. They say that if you're bad, Flemeth will spirit you away and bind you to her forever. They also say that Flemeth mourns her lost beauty and will steal yours through your looking glass if she catches you.
Tell me the whole story.
Flemeth's beauty was known throughout the land. She had hair like unto a moonless night, skin as pale as winter's first snow, and eyes as beautiful and perilous as the sea. When she came of age, she came to the attention of the Lord of Highever, Conobar, and he took her for his wife. Conobar soon learned that his young bride had the gift of magic. He kept this a secret, for he feared that she would be taken from him. Flemeth stayed with Conobar for some years, and with his blessing, she practiced her art. And then one day, a young poet named Osen came to the castle. Flemeth was captivated by Osen's voice, and he by her beauty, and they fell in love.
What happened then? Ooh, the plot thickens. Oh yeah, like that.
Flemeth longed to be with her true love, and she and Osen fled from Conobar's lands, seeking refuge in the Kokari wilds with the chasing tribes. They lived there happily for many a year, till the day Flemeth received news that Conobar was dying and longed to see her face one last time. Flemeth's heart swelled with pity for the man who once was her husband, and begged Osen to return to Conobar's side with her. But when Flemeth and Osen entered Highever, they were captured by Conobar's men, and Osen was slain in front of Flemeth's eyes. Flemeth was imprisoned in the highest tower of the castle, there to await Conobar's judgment on her. Distraught at the loss of her love, Flemeth plotted revenge against her husband. She summoned a fey demon, intending for it to wreak vengeance on Conobar. But a spell went awry. The the demon possessed Flemeth, turning her into an
If I remember
abomination.
correctly, yeah,
the halls of the castle
spirit
ran
was
red
actually
with blood
Mithal,
as
the
Flemeth
elven,
slaughtered Conobar and
well,
all
god,
his men.
not
The
a,
last
not a
of
demon,
Flemeth's humanity
and that's why
melted away.
she's
And at dawn,
basically
she stole back to the wilds to
harbouring
plot and
Mithal's
scheme
soul
for
inside
100
her.
years. They say she took to her side many chastened men, and with their help begat her daughter witches, who even now prowl the dark places of the Kokari wilds.
Okay, there's another story I want to
Which
hear.
one?
Do you know about Andraste? Do you know about Andraste?
Andraste was the Maker's chosen. The Maker had long since abandoned the world when the sound of her singing turned his ear. Beauty, grace, and wisdom enraptured him, and he offered to take her from this flawed world to become his divine bride. But Andraste had an earthly husband and would not forsake him. Instead, she beseeched the Maker to return to his people once more. So earnest was her plea that the Maker was moved, and promised that he would create a paradise on earth if all abandoned their false gods and turned once more to him. And this is why Andraste began her exalted march on the idolaters of the Tevinter Imperium. The Maker granted her his powers with which to smite her enemies. Andraste brought the Imperium to its knees, and her victories converted many to the worship of the Maker.
Do you know anything about the Dalish? Oh no, how did Andraste die? So let's
Alas,
finish this one first.
It was the frailties of men that betrayed and killed Andraste. Her earthly husband, Maferath, a chieftain of the Alamari tribes himself, grew jealous as his wife's popularity and influence overshadowed his own. She was also revered as the Maker's betrothed, and Maferath began to see their own bond waning in significance as Andraste became ever more devoted to the Maker. Out of envy and spite, Maferath made a pact with the Archon Hysarian of Tevinter, allowing his beloved Andraste to be ambushed and captured. Andraste was burnt at the stake in Minrathous, the capital of Tevinter.
But Tevinter has a chantry, doesn't it? Why did the Maker not save her with his power?
I have thought on this too. Did he withdraw his sight from her at that moment? Where were all the powers he bestowed upon her? This question has come to me many times, and I have no answer. Perhaps there was no way for Andraste to return to the Maker but through her death. We will never know for sure.
Do you know anything about the
I
Dalish?
have heard a little about how the elves gained their freedom from the Tevinter Imperium. When Andraste began her exalted march against the Imperium, the elves joined her cause to fight their masters. The great elven leader, Shatan, born in captivity, rose up to lead his people. He foresaw a future where the elves were free. Shatan was killed when Andraste was betrayed, but the elves continued to fight, eventually breaking free of the Imperium. The elves claimed the Dales in the south and settled there in the land of their own.
It didn't last.
The elves lived in the Dales for centuries. They resurrected the worship of the elven gods and would allow the building of no
Yeah, the
chantry.
elven gods
This
weren't
angered the
really
chantry,
gods, they were just
and
people,
the hostility
mages
between the
with
two
immense
factions
power,
finally broke out
which
in open
eventually
war.
became known as
The
gods.
chantry says the elves struck first, but I do not know whether to believe it. The chantry declared a wholly exalted march against the elves, named for Andraste's similar march against Tevinter. During the exalted march of the Dales, the elven cities were sacked, and the elven state completely dissolved. Some of the elves bitterly accepted their fates and surrendered to human rule, living in the human cities as second-class citizens. But others, still fiercely proud of their heritage, refused to bow to the humans, and instead became homeless wanderers. They were the elves of the Dales, the Dalish.
Okay. Should be all from her. Okay, Sten.
Why are we stopping?
We work together, I think I should get to know you.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
Are you alright? You're in that cage
You
for
are
weeks.
concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
I've never seen a Kunari before. Tell me about your people.
No.
No. Never mind. No, why not? Please, I wasn't expecting that. No, why not?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of The elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Ooh, burn, okay. You said you were in the army, a little hostile. You said you were in the army? What made you decide to become a soldier?
Decide? I am a Sten of the Beresad. I did not choose to be who I am any more than you did.
Yeah, the Qunari, they don't get to choose what they do from birth. They're like, selected to be in different roles and stuff. They don't get a choice and stuff. Why would the Qunari why would they send them
The
here?
Antam are the eyes, hands, and mouth of the Qunari. We are how my people know the world.
Does that make your view of things a little skewed? You didn't really answer my question. Does that make you... Yeah.
Compared to what?
Well, good question. You might learn more about people if you went hostile. You only learn about people you conquer. Well, that's a good question.
What does anyone truly know of the world? The world changes. We change. The Antam observe what we can, just as you do. There is no point to this. We are keeping the Darkspawn waiting.
That's true.
As
Let's
you
go.
wish. Yes.
What are we doing in the cage? I want to discuss something you mentioned. I have a question.
I am hardly surprised.
Why did you come to
answer
Ferelden?
a question.
What was the question? You came all the way for that. What was the answer? What was the answer?
Were you not at Ostagar when the army was overwhelmed? That is your answer.
Don't you have to report back then? Why would the Qunari care about the Blight? Don't you have to report back?
Yes.
So what are you still doing here then? When are you going to do that? Well, I can't see you're right on top of that. Oh, I can see you're right on top of that. When are you going to do that?
Never. I cannot go home.
Oh, why not? I'm sorry. Well, you can stay with it. Why not?
It doesn't matter now. Can we move on? We keep the Darkspawn waiting.
I want to discuss
Speak
what you
then.
mentioned. Oh,
Then I suggest we move on.
Okay, what are we doing in
Sitting,
the cage?
as you observed.
That's not what I meant. Very funny. Do you have to be so literal? Cute, you're the silent type, I see. He's not really my type, sorry. That's not what I meant.
It's what you asked.
You don't like me much, do you? Are you going to answer my question? Yeah,
I did. Parshera. Was there anything else?
Okay.
As you wish.
Okay. Let's talk to Morrigan. She always stays away from a lot of other people.
What do you wish of me?
I want to ask
If you
something.
must.
How did you become a shapeshifter?
I was not born such. 'Tis a skill of Flemeth's, taught over many years in the wilds. The chastened have tales of we witches, saying that we assume the forms of creatures to watch them from hiding. When a child is alone and separate from his tribe, that is when we strike, dragging the young boy kicking and screaming to our lair to be devoured. A most amusing legend.
Your mother has been doing this for a long time then? Does that sound like... That does sound like something you do. But it's just a legend, right? Your mother was just for a long time then.
Changing her form, certainly. Devouring lost children, I cannot say. She has not done it in my experience, though in truth my lifespan is but a fraction of her own. Why do you ask? Is there something specific you wish to know?
Can you change into other human forms as well?
The form of an animal is different from my own. One may study the creature, learn to move as it does, think as it does. In time, this allows one to become as it is. I gain nothing by studying another human. I already am the same as they are. I learn nothing. So the answer is no, my human form is the only one I possess.
Do you spend a lot of time as an animal?
There were nights when the wilds called to me, 'tis true. You look upon the world around you and you think you know it well. I have smelled it as a wolf, listened as a cat, prowled shadows that you never dreamed existed. But my life is as a human. I am under no illusions to the contrary.
What do other animals think of you when you're changed?
They do not shy away from me. To their senses, I believe I seem like any other of their species. As to what they think, I truly cannot say. Just as I am still human, no matter my form, they are still animals. Thus they cannot speak, even were I to ask.
I've never heard of magic before. Can anyone become a shapeshifter?
Anyone with sufficient will. But the act of transformation is a magical one. 'Tis a spell and thus requires a mage's talents. Indeed, you could learn the spells required if I cared to teach you.
Okay, I have heard of that kind of magic
Indeed.
before, so...
Have you an opinion on my abilities, then? Am I an unnatural abomination to be put to the torch?
I think your abilities sound quite useful. It does seem a little revolting. Maybe tied to a flagpole and tickled. That would just make you angry, I think. Yeah, flagpole and tickled.
I wouldn't advise it. But enough of such talk. Let us proceed, lest the dust gather on us. What do you wish of me? If you must.
Something. Did you grow up in the
Why do you
wilds?
ask me such questions? I do not probe you for pointless information, do I?
You can probe me anytime. I'm curious. What's wrong with that? Fine, I'll leave it. It's my favourite way of annoying you. I'm curious.
Any number of cats could inform you of the answer to that question, but have it your way. What is it you asked? If I grew up in the wilds? A curious question. Where else would you picture me? For many years it was simply Flemeth and I. The wilds and its creatures were more real to me than Flemeth's tales of the world of man. In time I grew curious. I left the wilds to explore what lay beyond, never for long. Brief forays into a civilized wilderness.
And you remain unnoticed, but you kept going back to the wilds.
Would you not do the same? Your world is an unforgiving and cold place. The wilds I hail from is home to me, and I a natural denizen. For all that I had been taught, however, the truth of the civilized lands proved to be overwhelming. I was unfamiliar with so much. So confident and bold was I, yet there was much that Flemeth could never have prepared me for.
You must have looked quite the fool. Very daring, sounds like you. I can just imagine where you hurt. Very daring, sounds like you.
Equal parts daring and foolhardy, perhaps. Only once was I accused of being a witch of the wilds, and that by a chastened who happened to be travelling with a merchant caravan. He pointed and gasped and began shouting in his strange language, and most assumed he was casting some curse upon me. I acted the terrified girl, and naturally, he was arrested.
That was quick thinking. What happened to the poor man? I'm surprised. You're supposed to be surprised you're a good liar. That was quick thinking.
Men are always willing to believe two things about a woman. One, that she is weak, and two, that she finds him attractive. I played the weakling and battered my eyelashes at the captain of the guard. Child's play. The point being that I was able to move through human lands fairly easily. Whatever humans think a witch of the wild looks like, 'tis not I. Not that I did not have trouble. There are things about human society which have always puzzled me, such as the touching. Why all the touching for a simple greeting?
I have no idea. I'm not human. Touching like a handshake. Were you upset by or the bad like a handshake?
To begin with, yes. What is the point of touching my hand? I find it an offensive intrusion. There were many nuances that Flemeth could never tell me of. When to look into another's eyes. How to eat at a table. How to bargain without offending. None of these things I knew. I still do not understand it all, truth be told, but then I gave up long ago any hope of doing so. When I returned to the wilds last, I swore to Flemeth that I had no intention of leaving again.
Yeah, here you are. You can go back if you like. I guess the joke's on you then. Well, I'm glad it worked out this way at least.
Yes? Let's ignore the entire Darkspawn threat and the presence of a simpleton as your only other Grey Warden ally then. Not that I lack appreciation for the intent of your comment. Thank you. Well, let's get on with it before the ground opens up and swallows us, yes? What do you wish of me? If you must.
Is Flemeth really what she seems
Well,
to
that
be?
depends, does it not? What does she seem to be?
An old woman, a powerful Maleficar, a nutty old bat, a powerful Maleficar.
You mean, is she truly the Flemeth of legend and story? Tell me, how much do you know of the tale? The one that the chastened still tell of my mother, to frighten them into obedience.
Liliana just told us all of it. I've heard a little of it. I'm more interested in the truth. Spare me the truth. I've heard a little of it.
No doubt such a tale has mutated much over time and telling. I can relay what Flemeth once told me herself, and you can decide whether or not 'tis the truth, if you desire.
That sounds interesting.
As the tale is sung by the bards, there was a time when Flemeth was young and beautiful, a fair lass in a land of barbarian men. the desire of any who saw her.
Yes, I've heard this part.
The tales say that Flemeth fell in love with Osen the Bard, and fled the castle of her husband, the dread Lord Conabar, and that he swore vengeance for her infidelity. In truth, my mother claims that 'twas Osen who was her husband, and Conabar the jealous lord who looked on from afar.
Sounds
Lord
more realistic.
Conabar approached young Osen and offered him wealth and power in exchange for his lovely wife, and Osen agreed.
Dick. He sold his wife to the Fremis, must have been angry. Seems like a fair deal. He sold his wife to another man.
Life of a bard is a poor one, and love fades in the wake of hunger. 'Twas Flemeth who suggested the arrangement. All would have been well had Lord Conabar kept his end of the bargain. But he was a foul man who bargained with coin he did not possess. Osen was led off to a field and slain, left for dead. Flemeth spoke to the spirits and learned of the deed, and swore revenge.
She speaks to spirits or demons, but she wasn't. But once she now married to a wealthier man, so she truly loved Olsen then.
That was not the point. Conabar had no honor, so she would not have him. Flemeth begged the spirits to aid her, and 'twas they who slew Conabar. The demon the legend tells of came later. Lord Conabar's allies chased Flemeth, you see, chased her to the wilds, and there she hid. There she found the demon, and he made her strong.
That would be
The legends
Mithal,
all speak of
the
the
elven
great
god.
hero Cormac, he who defeated Flemeth and her great army when she invaded the lowlands centuries later. All lies.
Of course, Flemeth would say that witch he never invaded or he never defeated her. Even my people have heard of Cormac. Witch.
The truth of the matter is that there was never an invasion. As Flemeth tells it, the Chastened never raised an army under her banner, and she never fought with any warrior named Cormac. Cormac led a brutal civil war against his own people, and later claimed it was to vanquish evil that had taken root amongst the lords. Thus, he was hailed a hero. Flemeth was only attached to the legend much later. Perhaps 'twas due to the great war with the Chastened that eventually came, but Mother claims not to know how it began.
Do you believe her version? How is it that Flemeth has survived for so long? The legend tells of Flemeth having many daughters. Aren't abominations usually insane horrors? An interesting story. How has Flemeth survived for so long?
The demon within her has transformed her into something else. An abomination, perhaps some would say. I know not. I only know my mother is clever, and she is part of the wilds as it is part of her. But she is no immortal. She bleeds. A blade in her heart would kill her like any other, were it lucky enough to find her.
Legend tells of Flemeth having many
You ask
daughters.
if I have sisters. I have asked of this myself. The stories tell of many witches of the wilds after all, not just the one. And these tales existed long before I did. Flemeth refuses to speak of other daughters, if they existed. So, should I believe I am her first? I doubt that too.
Why would she refuse to speak of them? Yeah, why
The
would she
Chastened
refuse?
tell of a falling out between Flemeth and her daughters. They say that one day she hunted them all through the wilds and ate their hearts. It may be true. I have never seen another witch or heard of one. Perhaps one day Flemeth will eat my heart as well.
Do you believe a version? Do you believe a version?
I do not believe everything that Flemeth claims. Oft it seems her bitterness has coloured her memories. But on the whole, yes, I believe this tale, if not all.
Aren't abominations usually insane
How
horrors?
often is this usually? Always? If not always, then when is it not true? There are more things in this world and the next than you or I could ever hope to understand. What Flemeth became is a mystery. I suspect, even to her.
An interesting story, thank you.
Flemeth tells it with far more embellishment than I, but you are welcome. Dare I ask of your own mother? Few are abominations of legend, 'tis true, but I find myself curious nevertheless.
There's nothing really to say about her. I love her. What else do you need to know? Keep you curious. I love her.
Nothing. I wish to know nothing more. I find myself a little envious, to tell the truth. But it matters not. Let us move on. What do you wish of me? If you must.
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
She's flirting with me now. I like it. I'm glad you think so. And you're cute when you're evasive. So you don't have to answer. You're cute when you're evasive.
Really? Perhaps we should be wrapped in ribbons and adorned with flowers. So cute are we, too. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
Fun? You found it fun? You really had no trouble with them? I feel sorry for the Templars. You really had no trouble with them?
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait, a little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Flemish used you as bait. Did you actually kill them all? Surely more would have followed.
Sometimes. Eventually. Thankfully, the wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you regret haunting all those men? What exactly is apostate? I thought they probably thought you were dangerous with good reason. Do you still think that was fun? Do you still think that was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
Yeah, so that's why she's like she is. Absolutely. There are things worse than death. That's just a pathetic justification. You're probably right. I have no opinion on the matter. Absolutely, there are things worse than death. Do I disagree? Absolutely. There are things worse than death.
Oh? I would ask what exactly, but I'm certain that would be a lengthy conversation.
She's
And
probably going to
suddenly
disapprove of
I
that.
grow very weary. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you wish of me? If you must.
Okay, no more of that. Let's go and talk to these
Good to
guys.
see you, my timely rescuer. Bodon Fennick, at your service, once again. I saw your camp and thought to myself, what safer place to rest for the evening than in the camp of a Grey Warden?
I thought you didn't want to
I'm
travel with
perfectly
me.
willing to offer you a fine discount for the inconvenience of our presence. How does that sound? Good? Yes?
Good for me. You're free to say just mind yourself. Let's see your wares. Have you been following us? What are you selling exactly?
Anything, everything, but all of the finest quality. No cheap trinkets here. And my boy Sandal happens to be a bit of a hand with enchantments. Oh, yes. Sadly, it also makes us a target for bandits and the like. If there were spare hands to hire as guards, I would have done so long ago.
Have you been
I
following
can
us?
see why you might be suspicious, being a Grey Warden and all. Were I in your shoes, I would feel the same way. Trust me when I say that my encountering you here was serendipity and nothing more. I travel a lot,
Serendipity?
so I'm bound to meet everyone on the road eventually. If you prefer, I'll take my boy and be on my way. But regretfully, you're the safest spot on this road, without a doubt.
Okay, let's see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Okay, so better staff for me. The blood dragon stuff, well, Sten's got it, so I'm going to give it to him. I can get a better... There we go, better gloves. Sorry, boots, and then I can get some gloves, which will help with spirit damage. Spell ward, great for me. Or any mage, he'll have another one in a bit, we can give that to Morrigan. 2 tomes for increasing magic and physicals techniques. Usually I use that on myself or whichever mage you're going to take with you if you're playing as a different character, and the physical one, once again, myself, or maybe Alistair's probably my best one to use that on if I'm not using it myself. Let's get rid of these. Like I said, garnets, keep the garnets for now. Grandmaster runes, master runes. They're the ones we want. I'll also take the expert ones for now. Okay, so these are good gifts. These ones are bad gifts that people will hate you if you give them to. Let's take your backpack. Let's sell my junk. I'm also going to buy some thoughtful gifts for people to get their approval up. You can get approval guides online or give them these kind of gifts if you want. But like I said, personally, I don't do that. So first of all, it's like Morrigan. Yeah, there we go. And when you get their approval rating up, you can see at the bottom of the screen there. It really helps because it helps increase their abilities, which you'll see in a minute. So give
a fine gift.
That to her.
You have my thanks. Interesting.
And then get her to the max. And then when we come off, it's see, new ability, inspired minor magic, inspired moderate magic, and inspired major magic. And then massive. Yeah, okay. So now on her, sorry, let's just, it should be somewhere on here. Actually, I believe it's on here, down at the bottom. Here we go, plot, see? Minor, moderate, and massive boost to magic in the end. Now, I'm going to do this with everyone except for Liliana. I'm going to give her her main gift, the fat loot.
Oh, how dear
but
of
not
you.
get her up to the maximum
Thank
for
you
now.
so-
So I'm going to give
Unexpected.
Sten, Alistair.
Is that for me?
Get him up to the max.
Really?
We like Alistair.
Wow.
And we'll get some more of these.
Are you sure I can't interest you in this hat? A pair of earrings, perhaps? A cheese knife?
What's your story exactly?
I suppose since you told me about you being a Grey Warden, it's only fitting for me to be as open. I am originally from Orzammar, the famed dwarven city that lies beneath the stately Frostback Mountains. I was a merchant there, too. Merchant caste. These things are in the blood, you know. You can't just leave them behind. I ran a fairly successful business. Rare artifacts, you know. Old things, grand things. The nobles loved them. Reminded them of the lost glory days, I suppose.
Why did you leave Lost Glory? Go on. Why did you leave?
One day, a noble woman came to my stall. She looked around for a bit and then started shrieking in dismay. Apparently, she believed that a pair of braces I had for sale once belonged to her brother. He'd been lost in a cave-in, you see, while on an expedition to clear out the Darkspawn from one of the tunnels running close to the city. They were made specially for him. They're unique, she shrieked. He stole them from my poor brother's corpse. She had me arrested on the spot, of course. Nobles, they're touchy like that.
What happened then? Why did you steal them? Well, I can understand why she was so upset. What happened then?
Well, I didn't steal them. You see, I'd been paying these castless thugs to venture out into the deep roads for me. The lost tides. They're full of things that people left behind. Sometimes you can find a treasure. Something worth a little gold.
I see. Isn't that stealing better to do something with them than
That's
leave them
exactly
to rot?
how I see it. The noblewoman, she wasn't too happy with the theft of her brother's braces. I don't know what they planned for me, and I didn't want to find out. Bribed the guard that was watching me and took off for the first opportunity I got. Never looked back.
And now here you
Yes, here I am. Now, is there anything the boy or I can get you?
are. I know you didn't mention your son in your tale.
Ah, yes. I'm married to a fine woman back in Denerim, it's true. She'd give me a son if she could, but that's not likely to ever be. Sandal here. I found him in the deep roads years ago. Abandoned, I think, and he was never quite right in the head. I took him in, and I brought
Yeah, you
him
can only
with me
say his
when
name,
I
I
came here to the
think.
surface.
Or
It may
enchantment.
not be my blood, true, but I think of him as one.
We left Orzammar.
Oh no, you
That's
can
right,
speak,
boy.
but not much.
Maybe one day we'll see it again.
That was generous of you.
It's not as if I don't benefit, mind you. Turns out the boy's a natural working with enchantments. He might have even been lyrium-addled. I never thought of that before, to be honest. Happens sometimes. He can work an enchantment into just about anything, however, given some time. Could probably open his own shop, if he knew how.
Enchantment.
Well, he does seem to enjoy it, at least.
Okay, so where do these go from?
Look,
from, not the deep roads.
We don't rob people, all right? We don't take things from people that need them. The things in the Law's Tides, what good did they do lying there? I brought them back to Orzammar, where people could look at them and remember. It's not all that different up here. There are places long abandoned by the humans everywhere. Even more now with the Darkspawn coming.
What do you mean?
People flee from the Blight with good reason, but they forget things. Things with value and meaning. They leave them behind because they're frightened and desperate. And sometimes, my boy and I, we find our way to these places before the Horde descends, and we save these things. I take them away so the Darkspawn don't get them. Is that so bad? They destroy everything they touch.
I suppose it's better than her letting the Darkspawn take it. The Blight will not last forever. Everyone, I suppose better.
That's
than
what I
them
tell
taking
myself, too. Ah, these are dark times indeed. Dark times, my friend.
Okay, let's see.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
He likes mentioning his discount all the time. Okay, let's get some sugar cake for people. Okay. Okay, so let's also enchant while
The
we're
boy's
here.
a bit simple, but he's rather good with enchantments. One of those tranquil fellas actually called him a... what was it now? A savant. I had no idea such a thing existed.
I want some enchanting doing.
Enchantment!
Okay, so this is Alistair's sword, so let's give him Master Lightning, Grandmaster Frost Rune, and we'll give him a Master Lightning as well. And we'll give the Grandmaster Slow and Expert Lightning to Stens, even though I can't do all three. Okay. And now let's give the gifts to the others. Okay.
Unexpected. Thank you. You have my
Oh,
thanks.
That's smaller approval than the other ones, actually. Okay, right. So yeah, okay. So they're up. Okay. So let's talk to them now again.
Something on your mind? Of course.
There we go. See, if you were raised in the Chantry, have you ever
Never what? Had a good pair of shoes?
sex? You know what I mean. Forget it. You know what I
I'm
mean.
not sure I do. Have I never seen a basilisk? Ate jellied ham? Have I never licked a lamppost in winter?
Now you're making fun of me. Now you're making fun of me.
Make fun of my comrade in arms? Perish the thought. Well, you tell me. Have you ever licked a lamppost in winter?
That's not what I meant, and you know it. No, I've never licked a lamppost in winter. Well, yes, I've licked a lamppost in winter. I've licked my share of lamppost and then some. No.
Good. I hear it's quite painful. I remember one of the younger initiates did it on a dare once, and there was pointing and laughing. Oh, the humanity. I myself have also never done it. That. Not that I haven't thought about it, of course, but, you know.
You never had the opportunity. You haven't. I was joking. Oh, see, you lack the proper parts. You're a coward. You never had the opportunity.
Well, living in the Chantry is it's not exactly a life for rambunctious boys. They raised me to be a gentleman. That's not so bad, is it?
You tell me. Not really. No. Sounds not really. No.
I've no urge to rush into anything. We may not even survive what is to come, after all. Enough. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Let's go. Something on your mind? Of course.
What changes after the joining?
You mean other than becoming a Grey Warden?
You've been a Grey Warden longer than I have. I mean, what changes physically? Don't avoid the question. I want to know. You've been one longer than I have.
You know, I asked Duncan this too, and all I got was, "You'll see."
He wouldn't tell you. That seems rather cruel of him. Just try that line on me. He wouldn't tell
Well,
you.
it's not that Duncan wants to keep it a secret. It's just that the Grey Wardens don't discuss it much. I gather it's not a pleasant topic. The first change I noticed was an increase in appetite. I used to get up in the middle of the night and raid the castle larder. I thought I was starving. I'd slurp down every dinner like it was my last. My face all covered in gravy.
Oh, that sounds
When
nice
I'd look
right
up,
now.
the other Grey Wardens would
Gravy
stare,
and mash. Oh,
then
yeah.
laugh themselves to tears.
So it was a joke. I've never felt anything like that. Maybe you're just a pig. So it was a joke.
More like an initiation. They all went through it too. Oh, and then there were the nightmares. Duncan said it was part of how we sense the Darkspawn. We tap into their, well, I don't know what you call it, their group mind. And when we sleep, it's even worse. You learn to block it out after a while, but at first it's hard. It's supposed to be worse for those who join during a blight. How is it for you?
I've had some strange dreams, yes, nightmares, I know what you mean. Nothing to get excited about. I've had some nightmares, yes, I know what you mean.
Some people never have much trouble, but that's rare.
We had that earlier
Others
where we
have
saw
trouble
the
sleeping their
Archdemon.
entire life. They're just more sensitive, I suppose. Everyone ends up the same, though. Once you reach a certain age, the real nightmares come. That's how a Grey Warden knows his time has come.
What are you talking about? His time has come. Bad news, I take it. What? Spit it out. Okay, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. We never had time to tell you that part, did we? Well, in addition to all the other wonderful things about being a Grey Warden, you don't need to worry about dying from old age. You've got 30 years to live, give or take. The taint, it's a death sentence. Ultimately, your body won't be able to take it. When the time comes, most Grey Wardens go to Orzammar and die in battle rather than waiting. It's tradition.
How cheery. Why was yeah, how cheery.
And you wondered why we kept the joining a secret from the new recruits. There you have it.
Seems like a pretty high price to pay. I never wondered that. I understand. I feel, but yeah, I never wondered that. I understand.
You know, Duncan, he started having the nightmares again. He told me that in private. He said it wouldn't be long before he'd go to Orzammar himself. I
so
guess he got
basically
what he wanted.
He died, yeah. He got what he wanted,
I
yeah.
just wish it had been something worthy of him.
If this is all we have to look forward to, he got what he deserves. He'll be remembered, Alice's, as will the others.
Ending the Blight should make this all worthwhile, right?
Yep. Hopefully. Right, now I'm going to speak to Liliana again. So the reason why I didn't up her to the maximum was because of a side quest of hers, or maybe like maybe a loyalty quest is more likely to put it.
Did you always live in an
So you need to ask her about being a
Was it very
bard or
terrible?
being spies. So let's go on here. Hang on 1 second. So did you always live in it? Sometimes I had my family. There was joy there too. What do you think?
That is good to hear. I have never been to the Denerim alienage, but I hear that life is hard and there is so much squalor. In Orlais, most elven servants live in the homes of their masters, often in great wealth and luxury.
I didn't know that. I'd rather live in squalor than be a slave. I bet some are treated cruelly. Yeah, I'd rather live in squalor than be a
They
slave.
are serfs. There is no slavery in Orlais.
It's still the same thing. If it's still a life I'd never chosen, it's the same thing.
Elven servants are well compensated for their services. Some of them live richer lives than humans. A well-trained elven servant is highly valued in Orlais. They are nimble and dexterous, and many people find them pleasing to look at.
Enough, I have no wish. Like a prize-winning animal, so I should suffer. So.
No, I did not mean it that way. Oh, my words were clumsily chosen. I did not mean to offend. I am sorry.
Apologies, I'm an elven, but more than that, I am a person. You may not be cruel, but you still see us differently. I'm elven, but I'm a person.
Of course. I am sorry if I implied otherwise. Thank you. You have given me a lot to think about. Something I can help with?
Okay, I'd like to talk to you
Yes.
about something.
What's on your
Hopefully
mind?
now we should have... Yeah, here we go. I heard that those missions are often spies.
Where did you hear this?
Who cares? It's true, I don't remember. Someone told me this a long time ago.
And you believe everything you hear? Not all minstrels are spies. Most are just singers and storytellers, but some of them are what we call bards.
And the bards are spies.
Bards are minstrels and more. Spies, as you say. Some say there is a bard order, but I don't think this is true. Many bards work alone or in small groups, doing the bidding of a patron who pays for their services. If there is an organization behind it all, no one knows who they are.
Patron, what sort of patron to this bard in Ferelden? Does the monarchy govern them? What sort of services does the bard offer to the spy in
Some
Ferelden?
do. Mostly it is nobles spying on other nobles. In Orlais, there is much rivalry amongst the highborn. They fight over land, influence, and the favor of the Empress. But they cannot do this openly because it is impolite, and in public they wear smiling faces and pretend to be civil. In secret, they plot and scheme to destroy each other. It is a game completely meaningless to anyone but its players.
You were a bard, weren't you? You seem to know quite a bit about these bards. I knew it, you're not just some innocent sister. You were sent to spy on me. You were a bard, weren't you?
I have revealed too much, it seems, but it doesn't matter what I used to be. It is the past.
But why were you living in a cloistered sister in rural Ferelden? I'd never leave that, it sounds too excited, but so that's where you don't find like that. Maybe you can make use of your bard skills, but yeah, why were you
I found myself in Ferelden and sheltered from bad weather in the Chantry. And when the storm passed, I just did not want to leave. I like to see the Maker brought me here.
Yeah, there we go. So I can't remember why, but I do remember that if you get it to the max before you have that conversation, you basically you just can't have it.
Oh, how dear of you.
There we go, got it to major and then massive. Okay, let's talk to Sten.
You are not quite as callow as I thought. That is unexpected.
Thanks, I guess. Callow, you thought I was callow. What's that? Thanks, I
You're
guess.
welcome.
So will you now tell me why you were
I
caged?
caged myself. A weak mind is a deadly foe, as you are no doubt aware.
What happened exactly? What do you mean by a weak mind? Are you saying you put yourself in the cage? What happened
I told you before that I was sent here. I was not sent alone. I came to your lands with 7 of the Beresad, my brothers, to seek answers about the Blight. We made our way across the Ferelden countryside without incident, seeing nothing of the threat we were sent to observe. Until the night we camped by Lake Calenhad. They came from everywhere. The earth beneath our feet, the air above us. Our own shadows harbored the darkspawn. I saw the last of the creatures cut down, too late. I fell.
What happened to you, the quarry? A few darkspawn beat you. That's pitiful. That sounds like what happened to me at Ostagar.
I heard the stories of Ostagar. Your kith stood their ground when others fled. No one can do more than that. I don't know how long I lay on the battlefield among the dead, nor do I know how the farmers found me. I only know that when I woke I was no longer among my brothers, and my sword was gone from my hand.
You probably dropped it on the battlefield. Yeah.
Perhaps. I searched for it, and when that failed I asked my rescuers what had become of it.
And then?
I killed them. With my bare hands. I
Bit of
did.
an overreaction.
I knew they didn't have the blade. They had no reason to lie to me. I panicked. Unthinking, I struck them down.
It's only an object, then you could get another sword. That's terrible. You panicked over a lost blade.
That sword was made for my hand alone. I have carried it from the day I was set into the Beresad. I was to die wielding it for my people. Even if I could cross Ferelden and Tevinter unarmed and alone to bring my report to the Arishok, I would be slain on sight by the Antam. They would know me as soulless, a deserter. No soldier would cast aside his blade while he drew breath.
Couldn't you search for it? Accidents happen. If you're prone to panic, maybe you desert. How can your people possibly think that way? Couldn't you search for it?
If I knew where to look, it would be in my hand now.
Where did you say you'll fight the Darkspawn?
Near Lake Calenhad.
Don't worry, we'll find it.
Perhaps those words are empty, but thank you all the same.
You're welcome. Okay, now, Alistair was obviously telling me, just told Alistair, never had sex with a woman, so
I await your command.
if I talk to her,
At times, perhaps. A world full of people and buildings and things was all very foreign
Ferelden
to
really
me.
likes me now, so...
If I wished companionship, I ran with the
I'm guessing
wolves
she'll
and flew with
start
the
something.
birds. If I spoke, 'twas to the trees.
Did they speak back? And that seemed normal to you, but you left eventually. But you left eventually.
Such simple pleasures will only enthrall for so long. I recall the first time I crept beyond the edge of the wilds. I did so in animal form, remaining in the shadows and watching these strange townsfolk from afar. I happened upon a noblewoman by her carriage, adorned in sparkling garments, the likes of which I had never before seen. I was dazzled. This, to me, seemed what true wealth and beauty must be. I snuck up behind her and stole a hand mirror from the carriage. 'Twas encrusted in gold and crystalline gemstones, and I hugged it to my chest with delight as I sped back to the wilds.
So you were a thief. I can't imagine Flemeth was pleased. What happened? I can't imagine Flemeth was pleased.
She was not. Flemeth was furious with me. I was a child and had not yet come into my full power, and I had risked discovery for the sake of a pretty bauble. To teach me a lesson, Flemeth took the mirror and smashed it upon the ground. I was heartbroken.
But you were just a child. I have a hard time picturing you heartbroken. Flemeth was, but you were a child.
And a foolish one. Flemeth was right to break me of my fascination. Beauty and love are fleeting and have no meaning. Survival has meaning. Power has meaning. Without those lessons, I would not be here today, as difficult as they might have been.
I feel sorry for you. You don't need to live that way any longer. They made you stronger, didn't they? They made you stronger.
They did indeed. To return to your original question, perhaps my time in the wilds was indeed lonely, but such was how it had to be. I find myself at times wondering what might have become of the girl with the beautiful golden mirror, but such fantasies have no place amidst reality. I await your command. So, full of questions, are you?
Tell me, are you really Flemeth's daughter?
I assume you were actually asking whether Flemeth herself gave birth to me. Truly, I do not know. I once asked Flemeth that very question, and she merely laughed at me. 'Tis not inconceivable that she could capture a chastened man, or perhaps change to a more attractive form to attract him willingly. I find it more difficult to imagine her with child.
She was not always as old as she is now, was she? She could have stolen you as a child. Can an abomination be produced?
As a matter of fact, I remember her being younger once. She had black hair, much like my own, long and lustrous. But how could that be if she is centuries old? Has she become wizened only recently? Or are the tales of her legend only that, and nothing more? I do know the tales of Flemeth having many daughters, even though I have never met another. And Flemeth has always treated me as her blood.
She doesn't seem very motherly. Does that mean you love her? What if you have real family out there? Cozy family of an abominations and apostate. Sounds lovely. Does that mean you love her?
What an odd thing to say. Why must love enter into the equation? Flemeth taught me everything I needed to learn. How to survive, the meaning of power, the truth of men. If other mothers do not teach these things, then I believe them the lesser.
I suppose that's true. Is there no place for nurturing and love? Now I see where you get it from. Now I see where you get it from.
I shall take this as a compliment. Was it meant as such?
If you'd like to think so, of course. Not really. If you'd like to think so.
I would. Coddling such desires is a weakness. To indulge in love is to indulge in delusion. Surely a Grey Warden such as yourself does not believe otherwise.
I do, in fact, believe otherwise. No, you're quite right. That sounds very cynical. I'm not sure what I believe. I'm not sure what I
An
believe.
honest answer, if a somewhat vapid one. You shall learn in time, if fortune smiles on you. I await your command.
I swear
So, full of
tries to sleep with
questions,
you
are
quite
you?
soon after you get the full...
I await your... We're in camp, so 'tis as good a time as any.
Okay, I'll come back later, and then she'll start something with me. I'm sure.
Something you need? I'm sure either my boy or I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my...
Okay, right, we don't need some of this now. I still need to equip those actually. Yeah, let's just go out and equip those. So myself to start with. Yep, there we go. And Sten. Let's give him the rest of the Blood Dragon armor. Gives a nice bonus when you own all of them. Fantastic. Yeah, okay, that's better stuff for me. Better stuff for me. Alistair, I don't think there's anything I can really give him at the moment. We'll have some better stuff later on. Morrigan, there you go, she can wear my old boots. Liliana. I don't want to give her any different armour. No boots, there we go, we can give her a helmet. Once again, Sten, yeah, so that's just stuff we don't need. Give myself Spell Ward. Don't need that anymore. I think that's it. Let's just quickly sell
anything, I'm sure.
off my junk. There we go. Okay, let's talk to Levi.
You're a hard man to find. Where are my manners? The name is Levy. Levy Dryden.
Oh, Levy.
Did
then.
Duncan ever
Levi,
mention me?
Levy.
Levy of the coins? Levy the trader?
I'm James, I've never heard of you. Duncan never mentioned you know Duncan. I'm James, I've never heard of you.
He never told you of old Levy? We've known each other for years. But here I am carrying on while you have a blight to stop. Don't want to waste your time. But you see, Duncan promised that together we'd look into something important for the Wardens. And for me. But poor Duncan's... well, no more. A tragedy it is, at that. But I know he would want his work carried on. His pledge fulfilled.
What promise did Duncan make to you? How do you know Duncan? I have pressing matters. What did
My family,
you promise?
well, past a bit checkered to see. Nobles look at us with disdain. My great-great-grandmother, Sophia Dryden, was the last Warden commander of Ferelden back when the Wardens were known as freeloaders. So King Arland banished the Wardens and he took House Dryden's land and titles.
Just don't want to know what happened next. That's a bit drastic, isn't it? What happened next?
Hard to say. After King Arland died, there was a civil war, loads worse than this one. And our family was on the run, hunted by enemies, with nary a friend in the world. But Drydens are tough. We rebuilt, became merchants, and we never lost our pride.
I'm surprised you kept last name. So what favour did you ask of Duncan?
Ask for the truth. My family reveres Sophia Dryden. We know she died at the old Grey Warden base, Soldier's Peak. We want evidence to clear her name. It won't restore our land or our titles, but it'll restore our honour.
Couldn't you just go there yourself? I've never heard of Soldier's Peak.
Well, no one's been to Soldier's Peak since Arland's days. At least none that's come back. I spent years mapping the maze of tunnels to the peak, and I found the way a few years back. So I went to Duncan, I did. And I said that he could reclaim the old base and my family could have its honour.
Oh yeah, nice base, that would be good. What do you need from me? Why didn't Duncan help you? How will reclaim me? Okay, what do you need from me?
I can pick my way through the tunnels at the base of Soldier's Peak, but the place, well, they say it's haunted, and it'll be dangerous for certain. Will you think on it at least?
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I'll help you. Let's go to Soldier's Peak. Why didn't Duncan help you? Why didn't Duncan help you?
Darkspawn surfaced in southern Ferelden, and Duncan got plenty busy recruiting new Wardens and meeting with good King Caelan. Duncan said he would help after the Battle of Ostagar. Said there might be useful things at the peak, but he never had the chance.
How will reclaiming the peak help the Wardens?
Soldier's Peak is strategic and symbolic importance. Duncan said that it would be worth it right there. He also hoped to recover lost Warden history and perhaps a few old relics. No one knows what's up there now.
Your family's faith will be rewarded. I'll help you.
1,000 blessings upon you, Warden. I'll mark down the location on your map. When you arrive, we'll pick our way through the tunnels together.
Okay, there we go. Let's just talk to everyone one last time. See if they've got anything else to say.
I await your command.
Right, okay. And Stenge definitely shouldn't.
You called.
No, okay.
Something on your mind? Of course.
Something I can help with?
Okay, yeah, no, nothing more. Okay, I think I will leave this video at that for now. I know I was going to say I was going to do a shale next, but I will do that in the next video. And probably get Soldier's Peak, and I'm going to try and also do the Return to Ostergard DLC. Basically try and get all those three on the next video. So, yeah, thanks for that. I'll be back a bit later.